So, 7 months ago, almost immediately after the invasion of Ukraine, Roscosmos announced that they would no longer be launching any OneWeb satellites into orbit for Arianespace unless they removed all connections from the United Kingdom, simply because the United Kingdom had taken such a strong position against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. OneWeb, of course, was unwilling to do this. They had so much established in the UK, and the UK government had invested so much in OneWeb that divorcing any sort of British connection to this upcoming constellation was neither practical nor did they really want to give in to Russian pressure. And so the Soyuz was cut off, and OneWeb was left in a lurch. And at the time, I released a video advocating that OneWeb turned to India as a solution for their problems, but instead they turned to SpaceX, at least at first. And so it appeared that even though SpaceX is technically a competitor for OneWeb, and also they have a huge backlog, meaning that it would take some time for them to be able to start up the constellation deployment again, it did appear that this was OneWeb's only alternative. That is, until yesterday.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good morning and welcome to a special bulletin here on the Angry Astronaut. The reason that I decided to release a little bit of extra information about what happened yesterday is, first of all, I did cover the whole situation with OneWeb about 7 months ago and was kind of pleased to see that India did get involved in the process. But in addition to that, I had the opportunity 2 days ago to interview Dr. Maheshwarappa here at the UK Space Agency. She's now heading up the solar power station project in orbit. That is a very exciting project that she's in charge of here. But in a previous life, rather, she was involved with the Indian Space Agency 14 years ago is when she started her career then, in the process of implementing a variety of projects that made them into the emerging space power they are today. So I thought that this would be a perfect time to talk about both topics. So please tune in to my interview with her, which is linked at the end of this video. But why? Why did OneWeb decide to go with the Indian Space Agency and a largely untried vehicle? The rocket that they launched had only gone up a few times and had been in development hell for a very long period of time when they already had an established relationship with SpaceX. Well, the answer is pretty simple. On just about every level, it would appear that the GSLV-3, or the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle Mark III, by the way, I like the names that India uses for their rockets. No Falcon or Vulcan or fancy names like that, just a descriptive term. This thing launches satellites into geosynchronous orbit. Well, of course, it can launch them into low Earth orbit as well, which is where these OneWeb satellites were heading, but it doesn't have the payload capacity of the Falcon 9. It's not reusable either, only 4 metric tons to geosynchronous transfer orbit, about 8 metric tons up to low Earth orbit. But that really isn't the point. OneWeb only needs the payload capacity to launch one of their 36 satellite packages up to orbit. And that's what the Soyuz could do, and that's what this vehicle can do as well, for about $65 million, or roughly the same as Falcon 9 is. As a matter of fact, in many cases, this is less expensive than a lot of recent Falcon 9 missions with NASA. Now, the GSLV-3 is a radical departure from India's previous configurations. Instead of using liquid rocket boosters, which is kind of unusual, they've transferred over to solid rocket strap-on motors and also a liquid core stage with also a high-thrust cryogenic upper stage. The S200 solid motor is amongst the largest solid boosters in the world, with 204 tons of solid propellant. And the liquid stage uses uses twin liquid engine configurations with 115 tons of liquid propellant, while the C-25 cryogenic upper stage is configured with a fully indigenous high-thrust cryogenic engine. So in other words, this is entirely developed in India with a propellant loading of 28 tons. The overall length of the vehicle is 43.5 meters with a gross liftoff weight of 640 tons and a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. But regardless of capabilities, this was a risk. The Indians had never actually tried to launch a payload from another country before. They had carried out 4 successful launches of their own payloads, but never for another nation. So this was the official first commercial launch of any payload by this rocket. And given how important OneWeb is and the fact that they just lost over 30 satellites to the Russians, who, by the way, stole all of the satellites that were supposed to be going up on their rocket, well, it was a risk to be taken in addition to all the other risks they had taken in the past. But the reasons were very straightforward. India, after gaining the contract after SpaceX, had already established an agreement with OneWeb, arranged for this mission to take place within just a few months. As a matter of fact, 2 months prior to the first Falcon 9 deployment of OneWeb satellites, indicating that India regards OneWeb as being an incredibly important customer, and they're willing to give a huge level of priority to them. Not to say that SpaceX wouldn't treat OneWeb correctly, but they have so many customers and such a tremendous backlog, it's understandable as to why there would be a delay with them deploying payloads in the future, whereas India could give a huge level of priority to OneWeb, which is exactly what they did, and yesterday they carried out their plan to perfection. So 7 months ago, when I said that OneWeb should consider India as a replacement for Roscosmos, I guess I was half right. They went for the reliable option of SpaceX, but they also went with the risky option of the Indian Space Agency, seeing the potential opportunities there. And given how successful yesterday's mission was, I wouldn't be surprised if OneWeb gives all the rest of their missions, aside from the 3 that they've dedicated to SpaceX, over to India in the future. But we'll see how things develop. Please like, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell button, and don't forget my interview with Dr. Maheshwarappa about orbital solar power in the future. And as always, stay angry about space.